Now I want to introduce Jasminone. She's been a dodo on a number of occasions. Delighted to have Jasmine back tonight. There's a full collection of her poems on the way, but she has got a collection out already by Tall Lighthouse. Sadly no copies here tonight, but it's being reprinted at the moment because the demand was so great the first time. I bought my copies in foils actually, which is quite nice. I think quite a good thing to happen. Please give a big Dodo Modern Poets welcome for a return to Jasminone. Can
you hear me? Yeah, right. It's called Slideshow. My father with malted Einstein hair, with salt and pepper shaker hair, with hair of car-washed skunk, with head of fresh snowflakes. My father with brows of sand dunes, brows of amphitheatre seats. My father with eyes like soft open oysters, eyes of wishing well coins, eyes of long line hooks. My father with eyes drilling to the centre of the earth, eyes of solar eclipse. My father with cheeks of sandpaper, and with ears of open hands, ears of flapping letterboxes. My father with atlas shoulders, the shoulders of tree roots. My father with shoulders like the hinges of industrial cranes. My father with soft, heart chest. Heart of clenched knuckle fist, heart of elastic balloon, and his belly a heavy coconut. Belly of a crystal ball, of a sack of coffee grounds. My father's belly a rainforest. And his legs, brittle branches. Legs, loose marionette parts. Legs like old door handles under arthritic hands, legs of rotting fruit, legs of patchwork, and his feet like rhino hide, feet of curled burning manuscript, feet of cracked city pavement, and his voice a mountain echo, voice of butterfly flight, voice of wild salmon fighting current. My father's voice like hand whittled clarinet reeds, and his laugh a bubbling waterfall. My father's laugh like a hard bristle brush on a front step, and his song a wayward supermarket trolley. Song of a rabbit's foot necklace. Song of a swishing ceremonial robe. My father's song a fading slideshow. And his hands like dry sea sponge. Hands of chewed mango pits, hands of giant open clams. My father's hands, like magic porridge pots to the starving. Eat, eat, eat. Thank you. Yeah, there's been a lot of dad poems in recent years. This is also a dad poem. It makes a noise if you've got a room in your house where loads of crap is stored. Yeah, lots of recognition. Unfortunately, my father's room became that room, and this poem was written after watching my mother clear it out. This is called Dust. I get my ashen skin from you, dryness that no cream will slip to shine, your grey knees, shins, scaly marble tree trunks that would flake like silver birch. These tiny remnants are being cleaned from your bedroom. Minute particles that were once your forearms, your bottom lip, your toes. You were there in all the creases. To breathe there, surrounded by your fine silt, was to breathe you. Your dust was all there was left, a trickle of sand in an hourglass of memories I tried to strangle so the grains don't slip. And now, watching the last veteran soldiers of your body as they're sucked from their musty corners to hoover bag to landfill, I reach for my one last stash of you. Scrape nails down my own dry shins, yield strips of wax on a candlelit tabletop, and feel you here, in my smallest visible parts, breathing where you will always be, just under the surface. Thank you. I'm going to try and remember this one. Okay, this is called Tour Guide. The hand that is not trapped under my body's sleeping anvil snaked its way over my hills and valleys, folds softly around skeletal ridges. Like a guide preparing a trail through natural treasures, the hand notes exactly what it will show you when you visit. Not monuments snapped into keyring trinkets, but places hidden and broken. Shattered statues that still sing from their jagged edges. Lightning-struck trees frozen in surrender. The scars of bullet pockmarks on the faces of houses with their shutter eyelids clamped closed. The officers at the border will know when it's safe to bear my grounds up to you. Risk your reshaping the unknowable terror of your respectful joy. But if you settle here, maybe you will love parts of my own country I had forgotten. Thank you. This is going to be my last poem of this set. It's great to be back. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you for coming back.
This is I don't know how I've ended up working in cafe land for the past 3 years. I think it's a bit of a honey trap because you get fed and for free. But there are less glamorous, not less glamorous than what? There are not so glamorous parts of the job, but there are also kind of small blessings in the non-glamorous bits. So this is kind of about that. It's called the bin run. In the coffee shop, we are having a standoff over the bin run. Become hyenas in aprons bearing teeth over fresh kill. The prize, that shaft of light slicing through the concrete yard while lush ivy stretches luxurious over neighbouring beams like a sprawling leopard being fed grapes by a spider monkey. The sun mocks spent bulbs, unleashes a formidable roar and drenches a formidable roar into our wasteland, lets the gold loose and drenches my raised face in the origin of life. Lugging black plastic down the narrow stairs, sticky at its lip with rotting liquid, is worth it for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine, for, I'm sure I would agree, a wonderful first set, and look forward to hearing more from you and, of course, all the other poets we've heard tonight so far. Before we take our break, I've been asked to plug a couple of events that happen quite soon. And one is next Friday. There is a short story slam final at the Balham Bowls Club. It really does exist. And there are some leaflets here to explain what's happening there, plus a website. So that's next Friday. It's a very fine venue, actually. I think it really was a bowls club at some point. And curiously enough, the initial spell BBC, so people often refer to it confusingly as the BBC. And somebody else, Francis actually, has asked me to mention Poems in the Waiting Room, which does what it says on the tin. You've probably seen these leaflets distributed to doctors' waiting rooms, which include poems, obviously. They're calling for submissions. So all you have to do is put Poems in the Waiting Room into Google and you'll come up with their website. Apparently they're struggling to get funding, so maybe the submissions help to show the interest. So that's it. Books on sale here. We're taking a 20-minute break. You know where everything else is, so thank you for listening so far.
Thank you.